Welcome to FootballGamePlan.com, where football makes sense. I'm Emery Hunt, the czar of the playbook. Bring you our 2014 NFL Draft Prospect Rankings video. We're taking a look at the offensive guard position. We're going to look at my top 10, some small school prospects, as well as some sleepers that you want to keep an eye on. Gabe Jackson out of Mississippi State is my #1 rated guard prospect in this draft. Here's a guy that extends and redirects very well, plays with a good base, and also has good movement skills. He showcased all of these skills down in Mobile at the Senior Bowl all week long. Now his hands tend to get outside at times, and he can get caught flat-footed in pass protection. But overall, when you look at the 6'4", 335-pound guard prospect, reminds me a lot of Ben Grubbs that plays for the New Orleans Saints, one of the most polished guard prospects in this year's draft. Zach Martin out of Notre Dame at 6'4", 305 pounds reminds me a lot of Andrew Whitworth that plays for the Cincinnati Bengals. He wins consistently in compressed space. He plays with great leverage, and he gets his hands inside. Can also play tackle on the pinch. He had a great Senior Bowl week. Now he has late hands in pass pro, causing him to reach and miss defenders. But overall, you look at a guy that's very talented. Again, that versatility bodes well for him at the next level. Again, can play both guard as well as tackle, and definitely is worthy of a first-round grade. David Yankee out of Stanford is a highly decorated player and is a tremendous athlete who walls off and position blocks very well, and he's also very comfortable on the move. Now, he doesn't bring his hands consistently and struggles resetting and redirecting in pass protection. That's something that's going to have to improve at the next level, but his skill set right now reminds me a lot of Davin Joseph and is still worthy of a first-round grade. I'm a big fan of DAKOTA DOZIER out of FURMAN at 6'4", 312 pounds. He reminds me a lot of David DeCastro that plays for the Pittsburgh Steelers. He's a very good athlete. He's versatile. He has good read and recognition skills. Now, he played left tackle for the Paladins throughout the course of his career, was an All-American there, and he can succeed at the left tackle position or right tackle, but I think he's better suited to play inside as a guard. Now, in the pass protection, at times he tends to reach, and that leaves him susceptible to double moves. That's one aspect of his game that he's going to have to improve moving forward. At number 5, I have Xavier Su'a-Filo out of UCLA, a junior prospect entering the draft early at 6'3", 305 pounds. I love the passion he plays with, and he has good athleticism, and he's also versatile. Another player just like DAKOTA DOZIER that played tackle in college and is now going to kick down inside, but his over-aggressiveness leads him to missing guys in pass pro as well as in a running game, and he's over-reliant on his strength, and he doesn't bring his feet. That's some things, some minor nuances of his game that he's going to have to tweak, but this is still a fine prospect nonetheless moving forward. Next up is Anthony Steen out of Alabama at 6'2", 310 pounds. He was my preseason #1 guard prospect. Now, postseason, he checks in at number 6. This is a guy that's technically sound. He anchors very well, and he has good read and recognition skills. Now, what he has to work on, he tends to catch first in pass pro and then try to reset later, and he loses balance when he loses the hand battle. But overall, this is a guy that reminds me a lot of Jason Pinkston that plays for the Cleveland Browns. Next up is CYRIL Richardson out of Baylor at 6'5", 350 pounds. The mammoth guard prospect reminds me a lot of Jeremy Clary that plays for the San Diego Chargers. He plays the piano very well, which means he utilizes his hands well in the passing game, keeping guys at bay at the line of scrimmage, passing guys off, picking up stunts. So he does a great job with his read and recognition skills, and he's very strong at the point of attack and is an excellent drive blocker in the running game. Now, he doesn't bend with consistency, and he has limited athleticism. Those are some things you want to worry about him moving forward, but overall, his skill set and what he has on tape is enough for me to grade him as a third-round prospect because, again, I worry about defensive tackles with a lot of good ball get-off and guys that have great combo moves that can give him problems moving forward. Another small college prospect enters my top 10, and that's Kadeem Edwards out of Tennessee State at 6'4", 310 pounds. Had an excellent Senior Bowl week, a guy that anchors very well. He's able to redirect in both the running game as well as in the passing game. He has excellent footwork. Now, his hands tend to get outside. He tends to get grabby. That can draw a lot of holding penalties moving forward, but you look for an NFL comparison, he compares favorably to Jeff Allen that plays for the Kansas City Chiefs. At number 9, I have Will Jackson out of Georgia Tech, a guy that played in a triple option offense, 6'3", 295, played guard and tackle while at Georgia Tech. He's quick and explosive off the ball. He has very underrated pass protection skills. Now, at times, he's inconsistent in resetting his hands, pre-snap tip-off as well with some of his alignment. So this is a guy that has to improve those little nuances moving forward, but I think this is a fine prospect. Reminds me a lot of Chris Cooper that plays for the Denver Broncos. Rounding out my top 10 is Chris Watt out of Notre Dame at 6'3", 321 pounds, a guy that has a lot of Evan Mathis to his game. He has good length, good explosion off the ball, and solid movement skills. Now, he's not overly powerful, so at times he can get bull rushed and pushed back into the backfield, but he wins consistently with quickness and technique, and those are 2 traits you want to have moving forward at the next level. At number 7, I have Essman out of Clemson, a guy that has a lot of Essman Mathis to his game. He has good length, good explosion off the ball, and solid movement skills. Now, he's not overly powerful, so at times he can get bull rushed and pushed back into the backfield, but he wins consistently with quickness and technique, and those are 2 traits you want to have moving forward at the next level. Keep an eye on Andrew Essman out of Minnesota State at 6'2", 308 pounds. Reminds me a lot of TJ Lang that plays for the Green Bay Packers. He has textbook technique and he plays with a great base and dominated his level of competition. That's what you want to see from a prospect that's making a jump from a Division II program to the National Football League. Now, what he has to work on, he has to move his feet upon contact. At times, he just wins with strength at the line of scrimmage, but you got to get movement at the next level if you want to play for a long time in the league. Kareem Barton out of Morgan State played right tackle in college at 6'4", 315 pounds, but I think he'll be better suited inside as a guard. He's a powerful run blocker. He resets and redirects very well in pass protection, but he plays a little high at times. He has inconsistent bend. Those are some things that he's going to have to work on moving forward, but I like what I see so far, and that's why I've graded him out as a 4th-round prospect. Brian Clarke out of Bloomsburg at 6'2", 305 is a solid position blocker, has good athleticism, may be better suited in a zone blocking scheme. He actually paved the way for Franklin Quatate, outstanding tailback, to go over 2,000 yards in 3 consecutive seasons. Now, he's inconsistent in pass pro. He gives up his chest a lot and then tries to reset his hands. Those are some things he's going to have to work on moving forward at the next level. Now, here are some good value guard prospects you can find later on in the draft. Will Simmons out of East Carolina at 6'5", 330 pounds, excels in a running game. He climbs to the second level very well, and his read and recognition skills are off the charts. Now, in pass protection, he's susceptible to combo moves because of his heavy feet and doesn't move well laterally. But when you look at Simmons, you look at a guy that did a great job in the spread offense in space, so there's a lot to like about what he brings to the table as a pro. Brandon Thomas out of Clemson is a guy that does a great job in the running game. Great movement, by the way, and climbs to the second level very well. He has late hands and struggles to sustain blocks and pass protection. Those are some things he's going to have to work on. His overall game reminds me of Travell Wharton that plays for the Carolina Panthers. Now, there's a lot to like about Ryan Groy out of Wisconsin at 6'5", 325 pounds. He does a great job in getting his hands inside, which is very key for an offensive lineman. He's a very strong run blocker. Now, in the pass pro department, he struggles to bend and plays a little bit high. Those are some things he's going to have to work on, play with better pad level and better leverage, and that will help him out as a pass protector. John Halapio out of Florida is a guy with great lateral movement. He has the ability to mirror in pass protection. He competes well. I love the way he competes out there, down in, down out. Now, he lacks elite strength and he struggles with the bull rush. At times, you can see him getting pushed back into the quarterback. He's going to have to get a stronger base, play with better leverage, and that's how he can succeed as a pro. Now, here are my final guard prospect rankings for the upcoming 2014 NFL Draft, and as you can see, they are color-coded by round grade. Only 3 first-round prospects this year in Gabe Jackson, Zach Martin, and David Yankee. Maybe not a deep class overall, but there are some solid prospects in the top 3 rounds and some good developmental prospects on the back end. You look at round 7, you get guys like Austin Wentworth out of Fresno State, Austin Bunach out of Cincinnati, even Chris Burnett out of Georgia, and I'm a big fan of Tyler Shatley out of Clemson, along with Brandon Thomas, were excellent guards and the reason why Clemson was able to run the football very well. So again, not a deep class, but a solid class overall for the guard prospects.